navigating the different stages of grief. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Jess X Goh, and I'm the sole founder of Life in Confidence. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on the latest insight into trauma recovery. And if you have gained any nuggets of wisdom in this video, please give this video a like, comment below, and share it with your loved ones who need to hear this. Grief is part of the healing journey. It is part of the human experience. We're wired to be emotional beings. Grief is an invitation to lean into that loss and to let it go, to receive support and guidance through our networks, and to evolve from our relationships. So I'm going to share with you the 13 types of losses that brings about grief. You may or may not resonate with some of them. You may resonate with all of them. And I'm also going to share with you the signs when you're about to enter a grieving process and what to do about it. So the 13 types of losses that we experience that brings about grief are traumatic events that have not been resolved, disconnection or separation from relationships, loss of romantic partnerships, loss of pets, loss of family members or friends, loss of our identity through transitions, loss of health, loss of independence because there's a change in our circumstances, loss of our homes or changing homes, loss of employment or career, loss of wealth and income, loss of fertility, miscarriages or experiencing abortion, and loss of dreams, goals, and aspirations. So you might want to reflect, where in your life have you experienced these losses? And if you haven't experienced some of these losses because they're not relevant to your journey, that's totally fine. But pay attention to the ones that you need to look into because you haven't faced them or dealt with them. And so when we accumulate suppressed emotions, our body will then come into a crisis. It will reveal to us, this is the time to grieve because you didn't deal with, let's say, the rejection of your father because he wanted you to be someone that you're not. Perhaps you were abandoned by your friends and they weren't there to support you when you were being bullied in school. So I'm just throwing in some examples where we may have not really looked deeply into these past timelines of loss. And it could be a loss of a pet and you didn't know how to process the emotions around it. Perhaps it's changing your careers. You wanted to build your coaching business or in the healing arts, and it's just not working out financially and you have to go back to corporate. That is a loss. So loss shows up in different ways. And the way it looks like when we're about to enter a grieving process is shock. It shocks us that loss is a change that we associate as a negative thing. So people don't like changes, and I'm not saying everyone, but there are some people who are very set in their routine, in their ways, and they don't like changes. My mum is a great example. And when we go through change, it sets off our nervous system. Therefore, it brings about shock. We don't want to accept that there is a loss. because we associate that as a negative experience. But what if we take the loss as an invitation to go deep within ourselves and to look within what is the unhealthy attachment to loss that we see this as a negative experience? And so when we experience that shock of loss, when we hear the truth, our nervous system goes out of whack. So it's important that we ground ourselves, hug a tree, spend time in nature, look around in the park or in the beach as a meditation to really calm your senses. From shock, we go through numbness. We don't feel what we want to feel because we want to deny the truth of what's showing up in our reality. Then, through numbness, we can't handle repressing our emotions anymore, so we go into a rage. We become angry that this has happened to us. Our victim selves play a part and act out that why is this happening to me, or why is this not happening to me? So it's important to process our rage and find a healthy outlet to do that, to get it out of your system rather than keeping it to yourself and holding on to it. And from rage, we then enter disassociation. We don't want to feel this intensity of emotions. We disconnect our human experience from the loss. And from disassociation, what comes through is panic. Something just doesn't feel right. Why is this change happening now in my life? Then after that, we feel guilt. We feel guilty of these losses. And we feel helpless. We can't do anything about it. This then leads us into loneliness and isolation when we put people away from us, our support network, disconnecting from them, and shutting ourselves in a room and just stay there. And from there, this is where depression comes in. This is the dip of the grieving process, is depression. The heaviness, the weight of these emotions, and the weight of facing and dealing with reality, your new reality. And so what do we do from rock bottom at depression? We need to give ourselves permission, plenty of time and space to process and move through our emotions, and to be willing to receive support and guidance. Someone who has walked through your shoes, who have come out the other side of grief, to help you in your journey with grief as well. Through that, you will start to accept reality. And by accepting reality of loss, and this is going to be your new reality, this is the turning point of healing becomes embodying. So this is the step where you are moving forward and out of the grieving process, is accepting reality, accepting the loss, making peace with it. Through the right support, when you accept reality that this person or this pet or this home or this job or this version of you that's not in your life right now, when you have finally accepted that, where to from here would be your question. And so we need the right guidance and support to show us how can we rebuild our lives with this new reality. So we need to put in structure in place. So what do we need to rebuild ourselves in this new reality? Also, this helps us to dive deeper in educating ourselves with our emotions and how to navigate them, and to find a new system, a new routine to navigate our life in this new reality. This then, through self-discovery and self-awareness, brings hope. Hope that something new is coming through from the loss. Because loss is really shedding layers of ourselves that we've been holding on to. And so these crises, such as losing family members, losing a home, losing income or a job or our health, it's a crisis. It's showing us this is what you need to let go of in order to move forward, to evolve from the loss of that experience. Without loss, we won't change and we won't grow. And so from hope, there's excitement and there's this zest for life that now you can see a clearer picture that this is how your life is going to be moving forward. So, my love, I really hope that this really helps you to have the insight to navigate through this and to be open to connection of any kind. Connection to receiving support, whether it's a coach, a healer, a therapist, a counselor, whether it's being open to connection through friends, family members, pets, or God, spirit, your high self. And so from there, from leaning into this journey of processing and integrating grief is here to serve you for your highest good, to step into this version of you that you need to become, to shed away what ye must let go of. So, my love, if you are truly struggling with this, then you might be interested in attending my weekend workshops. And if you want something that's more private, then we can also work together in a one-to-one, half-day or one-day trauma recovery retreat, just you and me. And I share at my workshops and in the one-to-one containers different healing processes, modalities, techniques, strategies, and ways to integrate from loss and grief. You can also work with me online in my 3-month container called Find Yourself and Trust, where you get the invitation to transform all aspects of your life, to move mountains and find your you. You must watch my free webinar on overcome the impacts of childhood traumas in 3 months to then book a free clarity call regarding this program, as it's not for the faint-hearted. It's for someone who is highly accountable, coachable, and committed to radical positive change. And lastly, I am also running my spring equinox women's healing circle via Zoom. So if you are up for embracing and embodying your feminine essence and radiance by dissolving and dismantling and shedding and just letting go of the false narratives and conditionings that we have around being a woman, such as the feminist movement, such as the patriarchy, societal and ancestral conditioning. This is your time to rise and blossom in the spring equinox through the magnetism of your heart and not the workings of your head. So there you have it, my love. May you rise in love, and may grief and loss be an experience of acceptance, growth, and truth for you.